It feels like it's been a long time since I've talked to you all, but that's because I've been traveling to the beautiful and sunny Phoenix, Arizona. But I am back now in the studio, excited to make some content for you. I've had a couple of weeks to think about the film that we're going to review today, and to be honest, I was thinking whether or not I should review it. Welcome to this dark and disturbing episode of Not Mainstream. This week, we're taking a look at Lars von Trier's 2009 Antichrist.
I shouldn't have come here. Get out!
Now, when I said a modern movie was coming next week, I meant it. But this one, Antichrist is one of the most disturbing and controversial movies ever made, and as it should be. This film is about a couple who lose their baby son while frisking around, and this loss of their son proves detrimental to the life and mental stability of the wife, whose husband is actually a licensed therapist. Now, I was trying to remember what the characters' names were and actually looked them up, but they were credited as he and she. We're just going to go with that. As the stages of grief come across the woman, her husband takes care of her through different modes of therapy. After the mother collapses from atypical grief and lands herself in a hospital, she reveals how fearful she is of Eden and nature. This is their cabin in the woods and the nature that surrounds it. The husband believes that exposure therapy will help, if not cure her. So they go to their cabin in the woods and he exposes her to what she's most fearful of. The wife goes through episodes of severe depression, anxiety, and aggressive sexual manic behavior. This story follows the wife's mental health outbreaks, which turns sinister as the movie goes on. Now, I'm not going to recommend this movie to just anyone, probably not everyone. I mean, this truly is one of the most disturbing and graphic movies I've ever seen, but that's for a few different reasons that I will highlight here. First off, just being graphic for graphic's sake. This movie has a few moments, one in particular that if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about, that are graphic really for the shock factor. So the director, Lars von Trier, is a somewhat disturbed yet artful individual who likes to make his movies as graphic and disturbing as possible. And these few moments in the film are truly shocking and will make an audience gasp and leave the theater. Literally, in Cannes, when this film premiered, audiences stormed out of the theater. And according to Reuters, the film screening elicited derisive laughter, gasps of disbelief, and a smattering of applause and loud boos. Not surprised at all. These graphic scenes, they weren't the only thing that made this movie disturbing for me. It was actually the depiction of the mental breakdowns that the wife was going through. This movie was largely based on the struggles of the director, really what he's been through in his past, and he's struggled with anxiety and depression and panic attacks, and that's what he wanted to illustrate in this film. As someone myself who has suffered and still suffers with anxiety and panic attacks, this movie hits home in all of the wrong ways. Look, anyone can direct a fake panic attack on screen, but the best and most realistic depictions are from someone who suffers from them themselves. I mean, I felt myself looking deep inside myself during these scenes and remembering some of the darkest moments I've ever been through in my mental health journey. Yes, this movie is disturbing, but artful and painfully accurate representation of mental health issues, and that's really where the movie makes its mark. I know that a lot of disturbing movies like The Human Centipede are pretty much garbage, but Lars von Trier makes a disturbing masterpiece with good direction, incredible acting, and really an artful lens. Like I said before, this movie's not for everyone. To be honest, it's probably not for 99% of people. But if you do want to dive into one of the most disturbing devices and memorable pieces in modern cinema, this one might be for you. This movie is available to stream on AMC+, IFC Films Unlimited, Tubi, the Criterion Channel, where I got a ton of really cool behind the scenes, and available to rent on Prime Video. I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say about this film, but still, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Next week's video is going to be much less disturbing. The Oscars are coming up, and I will be doing a review of all of the best nominated pictures for the Oscars. I really wanted to watch every Oscar movie, but I realized there's like 35, 36 movies that I'm not going to be able to watch in time, but excited to go through some of the top picks. There were some amazing movies on that Oscars list, and I will see you next week with that. Appreciate it. See you next week.